Okay, so this is Sfirat Omer, the count of the Omer. This is Yesod of Gevurah, day 13. So the idea of creating covenants, or britot in Hebrew, isn't as prominent in our society today. So we are more familiar with the covenant of marriage, where two people bind themselves together permanently, promising their love and commitment for life. Although relationships can still exist without this type of covenant, it serves as an invaluable hook to the that connects two souls together and strengthens the bond between them. Yesod Gevurah provides a way to create meaningful relationships that endure the test of time, allowing us to remain connected to one another. There are many types of britot that we can make. Whether it's a business deal or a marriage, these agreements serve to connect us to one another. This connection is something new, since souls did not come down after being connected in the heavenly plane. Instead, they must be made here on earth through kritat brit, or entering into a covenant with each other. So when it comes to connecting with another person, there is often a barrier, or machsom, that needs to be crossed before a true connection can take place. This is part of nature and affects relationships at all levels. Whether we are discussing marriage, business dealings, or any meaningful connection, even if a relationship seems to be going great, potential obstacles can always arise. That's part of life. And when dating or getting into any meaningful connection with someone, it's important to be aware of these machsomim, and proceed with caution. So it may not always be smooth sailing. But if you take it slow and navigate those speed bumps together, you can make it work. Making a connection is not always easy, whether it's between two people or two parties in a business transaction. There's often some sort of barrier that needs to be broken down. To create an understanding and bind a relationship known as a kesher, both individuals or organizations must first break through the challenge or machsom that exists. Establishing this type of kesher doesn't always happen in marriages or large business deals, but also takes place on a daily basis in small interactions with those around us in our community. The Kabbalistic approach, known as the Patach Eliyahu, explains the role of Yesod in connecting and unifying people. So that's like some Sidorim, they have that right after you put on tefillin, or right at the beginning of your Siddur for the morning. Patach Eliyahu it's like the opening or the introduction of Eliyahu. It's a section of the Zohar. Okay, so Yesod is like a hook that binds us together and acts as a foundation. So he states that the Sephirot are in the shape of a human. That's the male tree of life Sephirot, is in the shape of a human. But there's the female circular Sephirot, or Kabbalistic idea that the Sephirot that's round, which is the feminine worlds. Okay, so Hesed is the right, Gevurah is the left, Tiferet is the body, and Netzach is the right leg. So where does the Yesod fit? So the Yesod is comparable to the male organ, or a male in the womb for a female. So it's the foundation and represents a covenant between two people. So as we said earlier, when two people plan to enter a covenant, there is likely to be a barrier to arise. In order to break down any barrier, one must summon the strength of Gevurah. So Yesod Gevurah allows us to build those bridges needed to allow the covenant or connection to come together as smoothly as possible. So Yesod is the power to have an influence. For someone to get into a covenant of marriage or enter into any kind of relationship, it requires Gevurah, or strength. This is because many people are afraid to get into relationships out of fear of getting hurt or the relationship not working out. So Yesod Gevurah is the power that will allow them to get into the covenant despite their fears or hesitations. And it's funny because I think about like myself when I got married. Like, I didn't want anything to do with like arranging that ceremony or anything like that. Like, if my wife didn't take care of it, like that was the big barrier for me. So the first big thing she did for me. So connecting Yesod and Gevurah is the power to remove any type of obstacle in life. So this midah allows you to bring two opposites together and jump over obstacles instead of using force to overpower them, which is exactly what she did. So rather than breaking through, our goal is to go over it, similar to a speed bump that must be navigated around. So in order to have any type of relationship, there must be There must be no gap between the two parties. So when a gap occurs, the power of Yesod Gevurah allows one to jump over this gap and connect or reconnect the relationship. So practically speaking, it's important to recognize that there are barriers in all relationships, even the good ones with our spouse, parents, friends, or anyone else. It's not that something is wrong with a particular relationship. It's just an opportunity to work on ourselves. We can use our relationships as a means to develop patience and an understanding of judgmental thoughts. So I was just doing a class tonight, and we were talking about the idea that patience is actually a charity that you're giving somebody of your time. So Hashem created these relationships for us for exactly this reason, so that we can better ourselves and become more mindful of our behavior. So working out doesn't have to be just weights and cardio. Resistance training can come in many forms, from the challenge of getting over a ledge to the tension you feel when working against gravity. And guess what? Just like resistance training in the gym, your relationships can also be viewed as a form of resistance. We all face hurdles that seem to prevent us from achieving what we want or need. But these barriers offer an opportunity for growth. So know where the speed bumps are, and then take proactive steps to overcome them and improve the relationship. With some effort, these obstacles can become chances to move forward and self-improve. So today, remember that relationships are not always smooth sailing. It can be hard to stay calm and level-headed when we're feeling upset due to someone else's actions. So to get past this, we need to use our strength and courage to work on building trust and respecting the relationship. So knowing where the speed bumps can give us the opportunity to improve our relationships and make sure they stay healthy and happy. So in life, relationships are often the key to unlocking our potential and helping us grow. So we must recognize the barriers in our relationships, such as feelings of impatience or judgment, and take steps to overcome them. Like I said, one strategy is just to look at your impatience as if you're extending somebody this additional time to be patient with them. That's a charity to them. That's like tzedakah in a certain way. We must recognize the barriers in a relationship, such as feelings of impatience or judgment, and take steps to overcome them. To do this, it is important to reflect on what Hashem wants us to work on. By doing so, we can better understand the underlying issues at play and leap over those barriers for a greater growth. So a lot of times, whenever you start to see friction in your life or something like that, number one, you have to look at it as, okay, so this is an opportunity, this is a challenge that I have to get through, that's going to help me grow. But this is also how do I want to put it? Okay, so whenever you see these areas of friction or something that's coming along your way, you have to also understand that there are multiple principles that are at play in any given situation. Because not only do you have to reflect on what you yourself is dealing with, right? But the next level to that is to project that and see how your actions or how you react to something is going to cause somebody else to react to that. Okay, so now you're going into third dimension, right? But then on top of that, you also have to factor in how that's going to change things for you and for everything else, because you have a place in life. And if you fall from that place, something else or somebody else takes that place. There's a gap that gets filled in, right? So there's a lot of Hasidic stories where like one guy loses all of his wealth and this other guy over here gains it all. And then there's like this progression of this story where the one guy's trying to get it back, and he gets it back, or it merges where both of them get that business back or something like that, and it's shared. Or there's different ways that stuff like that can play out. But basically, you have a position in life, and if you fall out of that position, somebody else is going to take it. Just like if you're a father and if you're not like living up to your responsibility as a father, and you fall out of that family, somebody else is going to take that family. That's just a natural, like, fill in that spot of father for your children or husband for your wife or something like that. And that goes with everything else. If a business loses the manager, they're going to fill it in with another manager. Hashem has the same stuff in life. If this spot gets removed because you fail, like, something else is going to take its spot. So you also have to recognize that whenever that happens, there's also wreckage that happens with that, like with a family. with a job, it's not as critical as with a family, but there's the same things can happen. But anyway, we have to also consider these types of things, that it's not just about us and us making the right or wrong decision. I guess it doesn't matter, or I'm going to do what I want. We can't look at things like that. So to form strong relationships, we must draw on strength of our neshama and use it to build a foundation. So this is key to fulfilling the commandment of v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, so loving your fellow as yourself. We can achieve this by taking steps to bridge the gaps between ourselves and others. Connecting to another person is an opportunity to build bridges. So Yesod Gevurah is about embracing covenants and refining the quality of connection in order to achieve this goal. So this involves understanding one another on a deeper level and having mutual respect for each other's differences. You can create lasting relationships that will only strengthen over time through compassion, understanding, and kindness. And every mitzvah is connected to fear of Hashem, right?